In order to save time on this Thursday's executive committee meeting, I thought I'd just file a quick video report about the grant that we have received. Um, First off, we have received a grant of $500 a month for 6 months from Contest Every Race. Contest Every Race, doing a big overview here, is a political action committee. They have it kind of set up a little differently as almost an investment. Um, Most of this money is Silicon Valley money and coming out of other sources. It looks like to me that, generally speaking, the Democrats have decided to fund rural initiatives. We've seen this one from Contest Every Race. We're also seeing training that is being offered by national organizations, both in Knoxville and in Oak Ridge. Blount County was also a recipient of this grant as well. They're a little ahead of us. They were accepted probably 30 days before we were for this grant. Now, what is this? Basically, it's a training initiative. What the national organizations are doing are interfacing with the rural Democratic parties all over the country, trying to help us with messaging, funding, consulting, trying to address the questions that we run into in rural counties, not just here in Tennessee, but throughout the country. Contest Every Race has enrolled me in their training courses, most of which I have already seen. These trainings are generally available through the Tennessee State Democratic Party. They differ slightly, but the subject matter is roughly the same. Most of these trainings are available already. Let's review a few things. The General Handbook for Contest Every Race, I'll have that posted in the email that will come to you, as well as the websites for Contest Every Race, as well as Movement Labs. These are the people who actually are doing the training. These people are in Washington, D.C. They are professionals, young, very young professionals, but they are political professionals with a lot of campaign experience in rural areas. And because they're not just from Tennessee, we're learning and interfacing with a lot of other party chairmen and activists throughout the country who are running into similar problems that we are here. Some yes, some no, as you'll see as I go through some of the trainings. Let me review a few things that I've learned already through these trainings. I'm wording directly from notes, so please forgive me. One of the first things that they're looking for us to do is really work on the younger voters. Anything under 35 is considered a younger voter. And we've had that problem as well. Now, they have suggested a few ideas that I will mention here. Some of them we've already discussed ourselves, but we've never followed through on. For example, when we have graduations, we should get the graduate lists. I mean, they're generally published in the newspapers, and we can most likely track down most of these young people and make sure that they are registered to vote, or at least contact them. Another idea was that our event should be more fun for young people. Well, first we have to draw the young people before we can put up a bouncy bounce, because I don't think any of us will be in a bouncy bounce unless we can bring in the younger folks first. Food, entertainment, all those things were suggested as well. An ice cream truck, I mean, we have had that before, and we have done that before as well. One other thing that, see, they're trying to, this group wants to have contact people in all these rural areas. And one of the things that they suggested or mentioned was that we should have permanent contact people for different areas. Now, I know every 2 years or so, before the campaigns, we break up into groups and everything as far as events, social media, headquarters and staffing, etc. What the national group is looking for are permanent contact people in all those areas, so they can reach out to us. On the social media meeting that I went to, there was some interesting things there. One app that we will be using here in the future is a product called Empower, or the Empower Project. You're already seeing some of the graphics coming out of this in Blount County. If you look at any of Blount County's Facebook page postings lately, they're a little different than they used to be. They're a little more polished and everything. They're coming out of Movement Labs and our group, and they're, the Blount County's already using them. Something we need to think about is how we do our own Facebook pages. We do have 4 Facebook pages. Maybe our Loudoun County Democratic Party has to be more the official page, where only certain messages go out. One thing that was very clear at the social media meeting is that our messaging, our official messaging, should all be positive. For example, there's a new automotive plant opening up in Loudoun. I believe they'll probably be involved in the batteries, building batteries for electric cars. Instead of letting the Republicans take credit for that, we should be doing a post about how the Inflation Reduction Act helped this Chinese company decide to move to Loudoun County, as an example. So our messaging, our official messaging, should be positive. What Democrats are doing, not a negative message of, Trump is stupid. People who like Trump are stupid. We should probably just leave that on the Dem Talk page. Allow anybody to post as we do, and possibly use the Loudoun County Democratic Facebook page for more official or in-house created content. What else do we have here? Van, which is Vote Builder. I'm getting the Vote Builder training again about 3rd time through. Maybe, the problem I have with it is I use it every 2 years. So I forget every 2 years how to use it. We do have van training available to us at any time through the state party as well. Larry, they're after me to find things that we can do larger. Put this on your back burner somewhere. Why don't we, since you've seen van training, I've seen van training, it's just the basics, basically how to get in, how to run a list or something like that. What would you think about doing maybe an intermediate course on van for other party officials in our region? I know you were involved in the East region of the Tennessee Democratic Party. Maybe a course, a more advanced course in van that, we play to our strengths, that you can teach better than possibly anybody else in the state at this point, except maybe the trainers in Nashville, and I'd probably take you first. Other things that I've learned in training, what we think we might spend money on is not really what we may spend money on in the long run. A good suggestion, for example, as far as young people and how to bring in more young people, and we have discussed this, is working with the Little League Baseball in both Loudoun and Lenoir City. Both of them offer opportunities for advertising either on their fences or on signposts along the way into the facility. That might be an alternative to a billboard with a more strategic, specific audience. And we can then follow up with that is just have somebody go down and ask the folks, hey, register to vote, hey, register to vote. And, just be able to send them out to the state Democratic website that helps them get registered to vote would be a huge help. Possibly save us a lot of time and frustration because we'll have an audience right there and we're sponsoring it, so it might work out better. If you do have any other, I'm sorry I wasn't more specific. I've only been to 4 trainings. I'm still reading everything as you are. I hope this answered a few of the questions that I think folks may have. We're getting paid, like I say, $500 a month for 6 months, as long as I attend these trainings and respond to everything. As such, I will need access to Vote Builder. Andrew, if you could take care of that with the state party. I've had access in the past. I need that for the exercises. Yeah, that's another thing. When you do these trainings, there's usually a little test or an exercise afterwards, so I've had to do them. One of the other things they're trying to do is kind of get us on the same page as software. Vote Builder is a good example of that. Google Docs is something they've encouraged us to use. I don't see a need for that for our group. We all generally have Microsoft Office. If communications came in through Google, through to our group from, our PAC or anything like that, it's easily convertible over to Microsoft document and email, etc. For example, another product they want us to use is Slack. Think of it as like on Facebook where you have a group, a small message group that's closed. I don't see a need for that for our group, as we do very well with email systems as they are. I'll be using the Slack to communicate with Contest Every Race and Movement Labs as far as any trainings or any communications they have to us. So basically, we're just tied into a national group now that's giving us a little funding, and there's no real requirements that we do what they tell us to do other than attend the trainings and finish the exercises and whatever else they ask for. But it's an excellent idea. I'm glad to see somebody's deciding to put money into the local rural areas. It's fascinating because I am speaking, the best part of this is I'm getting to speak to people in all parts of the country with similar situations, whether it be Nevada or Michigan or Texas. And so most of the people have run into almost everything we've seen, with a few exceptions, of course. Our situation is always unique. But this helps us enormously. I'll administer it, and hopefully this will help us out a lot, and not just monetarily, but informationally. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry I decided to do it this way. It probably saves 15 minutes at the meeting. And I just wanted to see if we could, maybe update a little bit of our communications with each other. When somebody has something to say, maybe instead of a meeting, we can do this. You can see this is starting to come together, and we'll see where this leads. Good night.